welcome back to Master's Site. Today we are going over the Adepticon preview and my army that I'll be taking. So army lists were due this past weekend, and so everybody's locked in. So let's go ahead and jump into the Adepticon pack first, rules and whatnot, who's all going, and then we'll cover the army that I'm going to be taking. So, the Adepticon pack for this weekend, March 25th through 26th. So I won't read everything, just going to go through a couple of key points. So, big ones will be using, withdraw, no allies allowed. Pretty standard here for all the tournaments that I'll be going to this year. Seems to be the norm. So 2,300 points. So you do have a special character, kinda, with Ronnie the Bard. So Ronnie is its own model, but it gets attached to a unit. So effectively, it's just a unit upgrade. That you can utilize a single model for to represent it. But before or after deployment, before scouts, you attach Ronnie to one of the units that you control. That unit gets self-inspiring. And then that unit also is worth additional bonus victory points at the end of the game. So it's worth points if I kill my opponent's unit that had that Ronnie in it, and then it's points for my opponent if they kill mine. So pretty simple, but self-inspiring, not too bad. So army forces, all this is just pretty standard stuff, nothing out of the usual. So for the tournament points, so it's 15, 10, 5 for win-loss draw. And then that Ronnie the Bard, as we said, is +1 if you rout your opponents, +1 if you keep your own alive. So up to a total of 22 points for each game there. Or I'm sorry, not 22, 23, because battle points, there's only a total of +3. So they are going off of the point differential, so 1,500 plus point differential for a +3. Pretty difficult. I would expect most differentials for a game to be between 500 and 1,000, honestly. If it's a really big landslide, you'll probably see the next tier up. But I expect to see a lot of +0s or +1s for attrition here. They do have a couple other things that are kind of interesting here. I'll get right in there. So the if you clock out, -1 tournament point, so apparently make sure you leave at least 1 second left on your clock. And then late scores, both players get -2 victory points. So got to get those scores in. Pretty harsh if they're going to be enforcing that, but I could see if you get into some really really unique situations of people just not wrapping up their games. But both people getting a -2, pretty rough if that's going to be happening at all. So so the event as a whole, there's going to be overall score of 100 battle points, 25 painting points, 25 sports points, and then the +5 bonus tournament points, which I believe was just for turning your list in on time. So most everybody should have that. They go through sportsmanship. It's pretty standard. Best painted Mantic army. So in years past, Adepticon has done a plane trip award to the UK Clash of Kings for the Mantic army, or 90% Mantic models. that finished best overall. Um, this year, that is not happening. So there's its own separate award, I believe, for best Mantic painted army. Um, and I think that having 90% Mantic models gets you extra painting points as well. If I'm not mistaken, it's a little confusing. It's not 100% clear exactly what's going on there, but I'm pretty sure 90% Mantic gets you in the running for a separate award for best Mantic paint, best Mantic army, and then additional 25 points included in your overall tournament score. Uh, so, yeah, it's pretty significant, it seems like. Lucky for me, I have 90% Mantic. Um, and then the Clash of Kings award this year. So instead of that plane flight to the UK, they, I believe, announced that they will be doing a unique character or living legend or some memorabilia to whoever wins the tournament in the form of a model, or not necessarily a model, but a living legend. So we got the Sir Jesse's boots. I believe I even heard that Samacris was a combination of two big Mantic donors, Sam and Chris. They just mashed it together and made a character, a memorize or kind of a memoir for them. So, cool idea. I think we all enjoy this game enough that it'd be cool to have an item or a character name after you. So, definitely something worth competing for. So, you have to have that 90% Mantic army to be in the running for that. And then outside that, the paint rubric, I don't have it here to show, but kind of a different paint rubric. It has a lot of old kind of carryovers from Warhammer into it. Just check boxes of do you have this, do you not? And I think we're doing a self-judge, and then the judge comes through, but some pretty unique things on there. So if you're interested, I know it's online, so and yeah, that's everything that I wanted to cover in the rules. So here we have our list of attendants. So not everybody has a club there, but I actually have 4 club mates coming with me from the Outlanders. We didn't get the memo that a club was needed or recorded. I don't know where that information was provided or whatnot. So, but my club mates are obviously myself, Billy Henninger. We have keep going down. Tim Lonis, Travis Tim, and Sean Vilmont as well. So all those guys are going to be Outlanders, and they don't have really. They didn't have a first round matchup cast, and they don't really have any information on first round matchups in general. But I do know that Billy, one of my club mates, is playing Jeff Shulkin, the guy who won this event last year. So that should be a pretty good game. Billy's pulling out the Trident Realms, which are getting painted up as we speak right now, so they'll have some fresh paint on them. So yeah, it should be a good event here. There's a lot of big names. Obviously, Midwest event. I believe it's their last qualifying event for Masters. So most everybody you would expect to see from the Midwest is on that roster. Obviously, us from the mountain region are making a decent showing here as well. But I did see that we got some Northeast players, some Southeast with Keith Randall, Marcelo, I believe, is going to be there. So Mid Atlantic's represented. And then there was even Tom Anderson, John Green from the South. Jeremy Duvall's going to be there, and I believe I think there was another West Coast, maybe even two West Coast players. So I think the only region not represented here from the States is the Pacific Northwest. And there's some names that I don't recognize, so I apologize if they are represented and I just didn't catch it. So, but yeah, really diverse crowd. Looking forward to seeing everybody here, and we got a pretty good diversity of armies. So, as we can see here, me being the top, I'll be playing some Night Stalkers this go around. So let's go ahead and jump into my list. So my Night Stalkers, this particular list is actually just slightly variated from my tournament winning Masters army from last year. Now, some of the units have changed since that event, with nerfs coming to Night Stalkers in the last Clash of Kings, but I kept it as well the same as I could, and only made one major change. So yeah, let's jump into it. So to start, I have 4 hordes of scarecrows, which we have right here. And a little closer up. And then I have a troop of reapers. I did have 2 troops before, but the reapers, even in the list before it's changed, they got dropped in attacks and just small points reimbursement. Even before that change, they were already kind of on the chopping block. They weren't my favorite unit in the army. They were, in fact, the one unit that I was considering changing. But so yeah, got just 1 troop of them now. I got 3 soul flares. I will have the J boots, Blessing of God, and Helmet the Drunken Ram on each of them. Closer up. These are one of the few units that I did not use Mantic models for. I'm just not a fan of their soul flares. They look more like Grim Reapers on horses. They feel more like an undead unit to me. The Mantic models do. So this is much more the aesthetic I wanted out of the unit. So I do have a couple of Mind Screeches. I have a Horror Rift Weaver. I did have 2 of them before, but losing Aura Spell Ward makes it to where I only really need 1. Again, another just one non-Mantic model. They don't make Horror Rift Weavers, so had to make something. And I like this guy, so. I then have a Shadow Hulk. And after that, I have 3 Butcher Flesh Rippers. 1 with the Torque of Dissonance, the other with the Blade of Slashing, and 1 that is naked. And the last thing I have is a Dread Fiend. Again, non-Mantic. I think their Fiends are their worst models. So, this just, again, fit the aesthetic that I wanted more than the others. But, again, still have 90% Mantic because, all in all, that is 11 actual models that are not Mantic. So, well within the 90% here. And I took the Trickster Swan on my Dread Fiend. So that brings us out to 16 units and a total of 27 unit strength. All of those 16 drops are unit strength. So, and then for the Ronnie the Bard, I'm going to use this little horror guy that I have painted up because he fits the army. He looks cool. And so there is a picture of the full army here. So part of the reason I picked Night Stalkers was one, the tournament special rule gave self-inspiring. Night Stalkers are one of the only armies I feel like actually that actually helps them. And two, it's the one army that I don't have that I haven't played as a battle report yet. So my core armies that I have are Elves, which I've played an event with, Empire Dust, again played the King of Winter event with, and now Night Stalkers. So, and each of those armies play very differently from each other. So I wanted to get a lot more variety, so that hopefully everyone can, you know, whatever variety you play, hopefully some of these things translate over and help you guys out in your games. So um, typically with these Night Stalkers, they're very much about just swarming. It's an MSU style army, so almost nothing in the list takes anything on one. So I do have a Shadow Hulk now, so that is a bigger hammer than what I have run before, but really, this army is just about pushing forward, having a wall of scarecrows, and forcing my opponent to commit to taking them out, and then having units behind to answer and to multi-charge and take pieces out from there. So it's really just about taking territory on the board, forcing the opponent to commit, and then taking advantage of the situation after that. So, yeah, and that roster that we saw, there's going to be a lot of really good players there. So, and some of them have played me and my Night Stalkers before, so I'm sure they want another crack at it now that it's been toned down a bit. So, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the event. Me and my other guys from Omaha, as well as many other people, are playing other games. So Friday, I'm going to be doing Armada, and then straight into Firefight. So I got a full day Friday, as well as Saturday and Sunday for this. So it should be a really fun weekend, all in all. So. Hopefully we get the battle reports out quickly after the event. So I'm going to try my best to get a good turnaround like I did previously. So I appreciate you guys watching this, and hopefully we'll see you back for game one. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Master Site.